What if a year from now you were 40% happier? And happier people live longer, worry less, have better relationships, make more money, make better life decisions. They even have better sex. And I'm not just making this shit up. According to the happiness pie model, 40% of a person's happiness is due to daily intentional activities, such as the choices you make, the mindsets you have, and the activities you do. In Thrive, you are going to learn, practice, and apply these exact mindsets and activities. Hi, my name is Coach Kira, and welcome to the best fucking year of your life. Welcome to Thrive. It's a brand new positive psychology program with optional live retreats for women over 40 to learn the knowledge, skills, and mindsets to thrive in midlife. Because this time is tough. Over the course of the 9 months of Thrive, you will have a deep and healthy group of soul sisters that see and hear you, including me. You'll build a life that you don't want to escape or numb from. You'll learn skills that make you feel like you control your brain instead of it controlling you. You'll understand how to treat and accept your body as it is now. And you'll build new meaning, purpose, hopes, and dreams for this next chapter, all by learning, applying, and practicing small bite-sized happiness skills and mindsets that are scientifically proven to make you healthier and happier. Our small and intimate community of women over 40 gathers for 2 optional retreats, weekly group community and learning calls, and even joy boxes with mindfulness crafts and all the supplies you need to make this a whole experience stick. I think society has made us believe that we're supposed to be unhappy, that it's part of the gig of aging and life, and it's not. But don't beat yourself up. This is new research that have come out in the last 15 to 20 years. You just haven't learned it. But I know it, and I can teach it to you in Thrive. So if you're searching for a deep community of smart and kind women and a sweary but knowledgeable guide, that's me, and people to support and celebrate you through this weird and tough time, I hope you'll join us. Check out the information at thrivemidlifeprogram.com. Life is weirdly a lot harder than we've been told. And midlife? That's a whole other can of worms that I was completely unprepared for. What about you? But here's the good news. There are so many new skills and mindsets that we can learn to make even the toughest days a little bit better. You just haven't learned them. Welcome to Thrive with Kira, a smart and square podcast for women in midlife that teaches the skills to get more joy and love in your life. Join me weekly as I teach science-based, smarty-farty topics and break them down into bite-sized lessons that you can apply to your life, all while sharing my own shit show life stories that you can learn from. I'll be talking regularly about getting more joy on a daily basis, thriving in midlife, yes, you can, figuring out menopause, healthy dating and relationships, building self-worth, body positivity and neutrality, growth mindset, adult friendships, and also just easy mindfulness. So we can stop just surviving and start learning how to thrive. Welcome to Thrive. Well, hello there, sugar pantses, and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Thrive with Kira. I'm Kira! It's Sunday. I finally got a good night's sleep last night. So for Christmas this year, my sister and I got my mom tickets to Judy Collins. Does anybody know who that is? Does anybody either grew up listening to Judy Collins or their parents did? We had her 8-track. And it's just a background to my childhood. So we took my mom here in Madison to the concert. She loved it. It was really a beautiful night. We went on winter solstice. And whether you know who Judy Collins is or not, and by the way, Joni Mitchell actually wrote for her in the beginning of Joni Mitchell's career. So she told some great stories. But this woman was goals. She is a legend. She gets on stage. She looks fantastic. She is 85 years old. She is wearing some level of sequins or glitter up and down. She's wearing high heel boots on stage, and she plays guitar. She sings. She plays piano. It was pretty fucking phenomenal. She is 85 years old. She sounds good. My sister and I were like, wow, we need to up our game a little bit here. It was just fucking nice. I am a huge believer in getting experiences as gifts. I really believe in that at this point in my life. I'm not really interested in getting more shit. I want to live life. What about you guys? Which leads me to, of course, a little conversation about Thrive, which literally starts in 3 days. You guys, I have never been so excited about something. I literally danced and cried yesterday at the same time because I'm building the portal. I've designed it. It's beautiful. I'm building the assessments. They're amazing. It's different and better than anything I've ever done. I can't with this, and I have had to hustle for it. And I'm just going to throw out there right now, there is only 2 spots left. So if you have been thinking about it, you better grab it. It's going to be fucking phenomenal. I will change your life. Let's talk about it. I will tell you step by step how I'm going to change your life. And in fact, I'm going to do that right now. What I would like to do right now is I want to take you through what this process is. So not all the things included, not here's what you get, but I want to take people through the step-by-step process of what I'm doing in Thrive and what's the fucking point. I just realized that as I keep talking to people who are thinking about signing up, they just don't know what this is. And they just don't know what we're doing. Because for years and years, I talked about being single and I talked about relationships and I talked about your owner's manual and all of this stuff. So I wanted to take us through what this is before we got to the topic today. Now, I realize that Thrive may not be for you right now for many reasons, whether it's your age, your time, your money, whatever it is. But I do encourage you to listen to this part and not just skip through it, because there might be some really good thoughts on some stuff you could do yourself too. Like maybe you can't take Thrive this year or do Thrive this year, or it's not right for you, but there's 1 or 2 things that you can take from this process of me doing this for 16 years to better myself and other humans. There's probably some nuggets in there that you can do yourself. And inspired by Thrive and making 2025 the best fucking year of your life, no matter what, I have 5 things I want you to tune into that can really make an impact on 2025. And they're not resolutions and they're not anything more than here are 5 things that you can pay attention to that are not humongous things, that are not deep therapy work, just 5 small things that can slowly and surely start making your days a little better, a little happier, a little more satisfying, because this is a positive psychology podcast. Let's get into it. One of the hardest and craziest things about Thrive is it's just so massive. It's really hard to explain. So I'm actually going to take you through that process so that you can see what's going to happen, because it's going to be a little different for everybody. So the very first thing that we are going to do when the portal opens on January 1st, there will be welcome information and some videos from me and blah, blah, blah. But the next thing, your very first step, is you are going to do a full life assessment. And this life assessment is not fucking around. This assessment is going to be really looking at every part of your life. And not just the parts that you're usually looking at, even some of the things that you can't see. That's why you do this work, because you can't see everything. But we are doing full assessments on about 10 different topics. This is going to be the most homework you ever have to do the whole entire program. But this is our baseline. This is our foundation. This is how we watch for growth. This is how we measure what's working and what's not. I am like into this, everybody. Here's the different assessments that make up your life assessment. By the way, guys, I don't know anybody else who is doing this shit. No one. I don't know anybody who is doing this. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but in the world that I live, where I'm pretty aware of people who do what I do and what they're doing, I don't know. So here is what we are assessing. First of all, limiting beliefs. We're going to be looking at limiting beliefs that you have been carrying around probably your whole life, because they're created before the age of 5, and they are tiny little self-fulfilling prophecy machines that have been creating your existence without your knowledge. So we're going to be doing a limiting belief assessment that you'll be clearing them throughout the process. Next, we're going to be doing a growth versus fixed mindset assessment through every part of your life, looking at where we could be adding the growth. Next, we're doing a motivation and learning styles assessment. I bet you don't even know this exists. This is newer work. This is not something that everybody talks about, but we're going to look at how you learn and what truly motivates you. You know how to click it in with my and the community support to really get to your goals in this process. After that, we're going to do emotional intelligence. Where's your emotional intelligence at? Because a huge part of this program is building that emotional intelligence and those skills like coping skills, self-soothing, emotional regulation, being able to calm ourselves so we don't shut down or lose our shit, all of that. Next, we're going to be looking at a purpose and meaning assessment, looking at why you wake up in the morning. What gets you going? What are you passionate about? Or is that something that we're going to have to work on a little bit? It doesn't matter because we're just assessing where things are at so we know what we want to prioritize. There's no judgments here, and I don't even need to show you your quote unquote results. This is just for me to help you focus and move forward. Next, we're doing a PERMA and well-being. So we're going to look at how are you taking care of yourself right now? Where is your mindfulness at? And by the way, if it's 0, that's okay. That's a great starting place too. I don't expect anybody to be knowing this stuff. After that, we have like my favorite topic, which is self-worth. A big, huge part of Thrive is to slowly but surely build self-worth and self-compassion skills. So by the end of this process, you're just feeling better, and it's a big part of happiness. And then finally, we are doing a happiness and a life satisfaction assessment so that we can look at where you maybe made a priority that we can step back a little bit or just tweak some things. Now, this assessment we use multiple times. And in fact, you will have the opportunity to check in with me 4 different times, one-on-one during this process, where we're going to look at how things are going, what's working, what's not, and everything else. So after you've done the assessment, you and I are going to jump on a 90-minute call and go through it all. We're going to talk it out. We're going to talk about what's really important for you. Where do you really want to focus? How can I be great for you and everything else? We then head to Mexico, or if you do essentials, a virtual retreat, to go and learn all of these skills and mindsets that we will be implementing over the 9 months. We're going to learn how to clear limiting beliefs. We're going to learn very easy mindfulness basics. We're going to be understanding happiness skills and emotional regulation. We're going to be talking about all of the different components of this program, and you're going to start learning them there so you can practice them as we go in just doable bite-sized ways. When you come back, we're going to be spending a month excavating your best life, looking at what lights you up, looking at what fucking doesn't. Where are you spending your time that doesn't feel good anymore? And then we are going to, you and I personally, create your best life plan. And that's going to be your roadmap, your compass for the whole entire program and beyond. And you don't have to do it alone so that it won't be getting done, because I am the lead in that process. And I will be stepping up and taking over the majority of it with your help to create a plan that truly works and feels good for you. Then we just spend the next 8 months learning together, supporting each other, checking in with each other, and doing life a little bit better, where we meet every single Sunday on weekly workshops, where we do group coaching, where we do check-ins with the community that you're now best friends with after the fucking retreat. And we continue to practice and learn things like how to make better decisions, how to dig into your meaning and purpose in life a little bit more, how to, as I mentioned, emotionally regulate, cope better, how to talk to your inner critic in a way that it doesn't take over, how to build all of those self-compassion skills and practice them in a way that feels good for you. All of this is based in positive psychology and built on the science from it, including the joy boxes. I am literally surrounded by about 8 different boxes right now from all over the world with cool ass shit that is going to support the program. Every single month, you get a mindfulness craft kit for every single month. And this isn't about making something for you to put out display. This is about taking the time throughout your week to relax, clear your mind, and do something creative or repetitive that can help rest your brain and your burnout. All of this shit science based. You're going to get not one, not two, but 3 different books in there. And that's just the first box because there's a second one also coming in June. This program is nutso in the butso. Throughout this program, there is no homework besides that beginning piece and just about 5 minutes a day of daily rituals that help you move the needle on happiness. I wish this didn't feel so hard to sell. I know my mind goes to a place of, well, gosh, Kira, this is an expensive program. In this economy, right? The economy's rough. We don't really know what 2025 is going to bring on many landscapes. But I also know that I've been doing this for 16 years, and I have met people from all places, all backgrounds, all walks of life. And there are plenty of people who can figure this out. And if you are one of them and you are just not sure if you want to work on yourself because that's exhausting, that's okay, because that's not actually what this is. It's building tiny rituals that just make your day better. It's not digging deep into your childhood. This is not therapy at all. This is about what's working, what's not, and let's get it all working. Let's assess, let's move some things. So at the end of it, you're like, the things I'm doing on a daily basis, I'm proud of. I can look at myself in the mirror at night and go, this was a good day. I feel satisfied. You have shit in place so when your days are bad, they don't fucking take you down. And you just feel like you feel lighter. You can breathe easier. You feel it's a little easier to connect to people because you're not just caught up in your head overthinking everything. I cannot say this enough. I can work out most payment plans. I can whatever. 2 spots, guys. Somebody grab them. This is going to be life-changing. Absolutely fucking change your life. I hope 2 of you reach out. You don't have to go through any questionnaires. I will just sign you up. We will onboard you. It hasn't started. You're not behind. You have no homework the whole program besides that first week. And at the end of it, you're going to say this was the best fucking year of your life. That is my goal for every single person. Just reach out to me, Kira at thrivewithkira.com. I forgot my email address for a sec. I can't even tell you how much I've been working, even on Christmas. So let's get into the topic today. Thank you for listening. If this isn't for you, but you're like, fuck, one of my friends is struggling right now, throw it, send it. But I will tell you this, every person in this program has actually worked with me before. These are incredible women, and you will be pee your pants excited when you get to hang out with them because they are some of my favorite people on earth. Let's get into the topic today. New Year's is always so weird to me. I used to call it prom for adulthood because every year, like, friends and I would dress up and maybe go out for dinner and then drinks. Each year was different. Sometimes it was really quiet and I went to somebody's house. And then other years we tied one on in formal wear. Throughout the years, it's been Mod Podge. In the last 10, since I've met Danny, it's been more and more chill. I don't really drink anymore. It hurts too much in my body. I don't really stay out till 1 o'clock anymore too much because that doesn't very much interest me. That's just where I'm at in life. But I always think that things like New Year's, things like birthdays, they really create introspection and reflection. which I think is super important and something that a lot of us don't do very often. We just plow through life, sometimes with our heads down, just trying not to get bruised or scarred. But then there's not a lot of passion. There's not a lot of happiness. There's not a lot of purpose. There's not a lot of connection, things that really make life better. So I do think that nobody needs 30 resolutions. Nobody needs to guilt themselves into exercising more or losing weight. But I do believe in using New Year's Eve or just that first week or right now to do some reflection on what's been working, what hasn't been, and where you can focus on the new year. So the very first thing that I think that you can do to have a great, better 2025 is to work on connection and community. I think that's why we're struggling the most. You're probably going to have to leave your house. And let me put a disclaimer on that. You need to work on connection and community in real life. Online is fake intimacy. It feels emotionally safe. And by the way, if you have social anxiety, it can be a great stepping stone. But it can't be the only way we're connecting with people. And if it is, that can just throw our whole entire nervous system off. We need people in our lives. We need hugs on the regular, or at least touch. We need laughter with others. There's so much science about connection and healthy relationships and how monumental that is for our satisfaction, happiness, and health. Loneliness, as a reminder, is just as bad as smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day on your body. This is absolutely true. But Kira, how do I do that? It's going to be awkward. It will be rewarding. Join a class. You can even join a group meditation class where everybody's eyes are closed and you don't have to talk to anybody. Take a cooking class. Learn a new hobby or a craft. There's so many cool things happening in Madison, Wisconsin. We have maker spaces where you can get a subscription and go and use their pottery wheels and metal shop tools. It's freaking cool as shit. The UW has cheap one-day programs, continuing ed programs, as well as short, affordable courses. And most places have free things. So there does have to be a point where we have to look at maybe our excuses, even if we don't have a ton of money right now. Now, here's an important part of it too. You can't just surround yourself with people. We do have to interact with them. We need to talk to them. That talking, by the way, can be listening, asking questions. It doesn't have to be intense. They don't have to be deep. It's just about connecting with another person and how, even though that can feel scary and awkward, as a reminder, those are also skills you can build. I think people assume that everybody who is outgoing, just naturally outgoing. And I will tell you that is not the truth at all. And I have had to, because I've developed social anxiety since COVID, I have had to really rework on some of those skills because I was feeling super awkward in all spaces and places. Super awkward. And I'm like, I got to work on this because this doesn't feel good. But I did. And it helps. As a reminder, if all of that sounds a little scary or overwhelming and you don't even know where to start, guess what has a built-in amazing community? Thrive! All right, next. It's going to be this ridiculous today. Please humor me. I try so hard over here. The second thing I want you to focus on, you can do this totally yourself, is being present. What do I mean by that? When you're with people, you're with people. Not just on your phone, but also just not checked out, thinking about other things, thinking about what you got to do for dinner tonight, think about if you're going to work out tomorrow or not. Be there. Be with them. That is the most beautiful, simple, absolutely free gift we can give to everyone in our lives. And kindly, when you are with people, ask them to be the same for you. And that might be a behavior you'll need to role model first. But part of the problem with our connection is even when we spend time with people, we're not really there. We're in our own mind. We're thinking about that conversation we had earlier. Once again, we're thinking about errands we need to run, or we're on our phones or templates or laptops or whatever, interacting with people who aren't the people that we're sitting in the room with. Part of the reason that we are so emotionally unregulated and overwhelmed is because we're constantly tied to something that is moving at the speed of light and our brains can't really take it in. We are going to feel calmer and better the more that we can just step away and be in the spaces that we're at. That also might include when you take your dog for a walk, put on really good music and be in that moment. Most of humans' time on earth, yeah, it's going to be good when I make statements like that, has been present, has been mindful. What mindful means, you are in the present paying attention to what's happening. They didn't have distractions such as doom scrolling and TV and movies and video games and all the other things. You had to be there because number one, there wasn't distractions, or two, there was always some element of unsafe things going on. So you had to be vigilant. It's amazing that we live at a time where we don't have to be hyper vigilant all the time about our safety, but we've accidentally swung in the other direction, probably a little too far. And although sometimes stepping away, distraction, can be a beautiful thing when we're really struggling, when it's our only thing, then it's a problem. Number 3, we're talking about where are you putting your time? What do you prioritize in your day? What gets your not only physical, but emotional and mental time? There's a couple of exercises I've heard over the years that I'm going to share with you right now. We want a certain life, right? Maybe we have an idea of what kind of life we want. And then there's a life we have. And that life we have has been built with stuff from our past, disappointments, scary experiences, all of these different things. And so every day, instead of intentionally going after life, we are instead just trying to push it away and keep it from killing us. But my favorite podcast lately has been Hidden Brain. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's on NPR. It's free. You can find it on anywhere for podcasts. But there was an episode recently called You 2.0 series called Taking Control of Your Time. I thought that was a fascinating episode. And it was really great about time tracking and being able to really valuably look at where you're putting your time every day and then tweaking that, make it more intentional, make sure things that make you happy and you're passionate about and make you feel good are always part of your day. But I thought that was an amazing episode. I'll try to put it in the show notes here if I remember it, but if not, but that's actually something we're doing in Thrive. We're going to be doing something called time crafting. And it's a whole thing, and it's going to be part of the how to create your best life plan process. And I'm really excited about it, but we will be looking and evaluating our time and where we're putting our time so that we can make sure how we're spending our day actually feels good and is moving us towards our goals. Brilliant, right? Which leads me to number 4, which is understand your motivation and learning styles. So in case you guys haven't heard this on this podcast or somewhere else, and there's actually a book called Laziness Does Not Exist by Dr. Devin Price, I believe. And the concept is this, that we blame laziness on ourselves and others when really laziness does not exist. Instead, there's a couple things at play. Number 1, it could be fear or trauma. Number 2, most of us don't really understand motivation and our own motivation styles. We're going to be learning that in Thrive, by the way. So we keep doing what maybe or two people said, and then we're like, well, that didn't work for me. Clearly I'm broken. Everybody else isn't. And we're done here. I'm obviously just never going to better myself besides listen to Kira Saban's Thrive with Kira podcast. I'm ridiculous. I'm aware. But that's just not true. There are a handful of reasons of why maybe you're not going after things. And I can help you figure that out. And if not me, a therapist probably can. And there are different ways that we can figure that out. But I think it's really important for us to understand why we are moving forward towards our goals or why we're maybe feeling stuck. And feeling stuck is usually either our fear, our trauma, our limiting beliefs, our mindset, all the shit I work on, holding us back. And because we don't really know that too much about it, or we've never taken the time to understand it, we just feel like shit and like we're broken. And it's just a cycle that continues until we break the cycle. As a Gen Xer, there are so many things I learned that were like, this is what this is. And you're either good at it or bad at it. By the way, that is what a fixed mindset is. That's one of the things I work on and what positive psychology teaches, which is brilliant because that mindset will get you jack shit. But really, it's understanding, number one, the different types of motivation and which one gets you where you need to go. Number two, what your personal learning styles are, because it may not be the way that school or education was run. It may be different than that. And there's reasons why you are not taking in the information and able to apply it to your life. Next, they used to say that you could learn a new thing in 3 weeks. That's not true. Actually, they say for real change, you have to do all of these things. You have to learn it. You have to apply it. You have to practice it. And you're going to probably have to do that for 6 months at least to build a ritual where it becomes a daily activity. Hopefully like brushing your teeth or checking my Instagram, making a joke there. There's just so much shit that we think there's something wrong with us or that we're broken, and it's just things we haven't learned. Which brings me to number 5. I'm going to challenge everybody who listens to this podcast to work towards learning one new thing this year. Maybe it's a hobby. Maybe it's learning how to cook better. Maybe it's learning how to meditate. Maybe it's learning a language. Whatever it is, you don't put 20 things on your list. You pick one thing and you dedicate your year to it. I've seen people do this online. I'm always think it's an incredible idea. Just choose one thing. And I saw a list recently where a woman listed, I think, the last 25 years, and every year she built a skill or a mindset and has had a phenomenal result in life because of it. And every year she chooses one thing that she is going to focus on and work on, and she goes for it. And she has accomplished a ton of different things. I wish I knew where that was or where I could find it, but I don't remember my own name some days because perimenopause. So if I find it, I will try to send it out in the newsletter. Are you on my newsletter? Have you signed up? That is something I think that everybody can do. Find one thing you've always wanted to do. Maybe since you were a kid. Maybe it's learn ballet or tap. Go for it. There's actually a place nearby here that teaches belly dancing. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And it's just really plus size, all body friendly. So I'm like, gosh, maybe I'm going to do it. Now, that's not going to be probably my one thing, because I'll be doing a lot of things in Thrive. I'm hoping you're going to do it with me. But hopefully those 5 things can really help you just put a little focus on 2025. They're not huge things, but you can maybe just grab 1 or 2 of them. But if you stop worrying about losing all the weight, getting in shape, reading 10,000 books, whatever it is, and start just going, maybe I'm really work on community. Or maybe I'm going to pick one skill or mindset this year that I'm going to focus on and really fucking learn it and build it. And then next year, I'm going to do the same thing. I just think all of these are ways to better our life. And if there's a way I can help you with it, let me know. All right, guys, that's it for today and the last podcast of 2024. I'll be back in the new year. I'm going to have a really fun, I don't know if it'll be right away, but really fun new theme song. There's going to be some great themes throughout 2025. And of course, Rom-Com Rescue will be back with new and classic rom-com movies and series. We have so much fun over there. If you guys aren't listening, you are missing out. All right, guys. Was this helpful? I'm going to ask that if you're liking these lately, would you let me know? You don't even have to leave a review, especially since some of you already have, but I'm really needing just some feedback on where people are at. I feel like, especially the last couple of weeks since the election, things have been super quiet. Tell me how you're doing. Kira at thrivewithkira.com. In 2025, if you're ready to change your life, change it with me. Let's do this. Let's fucking do this. I'm so excited. If you liked this, please subscribe. I don't always put things out weekly. Sometimes I put things out 3 times a week. Sometimes I'll have a week and a half to 2 weeks in between. So subscribe so you know exactly when things go live. Finally, if you really love it, please leave a review. Whether it's just some stars on Apple or Spotify, or really writing down what you are learning and loving about this podcast. I read every single one. They fucking make my day. You are the wind beneath my wings. And it helps get it out there. Because honestly, as much as I can say this, for as much feedback I get about this podcast, which is a lot, and most of it all very positive, except for the people who don't like my swearing and don't fucking care. Even if you never share this with another person, by you writing an anonymous review, that lets other people know this might be something that they want to check out. All right, guys. I'll see you soon. No more surviving. Let's thrive.